As a kid, did you ever wonder what it would be like if there were no rules? Remember how you'd always just say, I just wish I could do whatever I wanted? Well, Dana Martin believes her 4 children should make all the decisions in their lives, even when it comes to school. So, in that sense, this unschooling, this idea of unschooling, where your kids literally are deciding what it is they will study, how they will study, what they do with their day?
Yeah, well, unschooling is a method of homeschooling, but it differs in that we don't live life following a curriculum. Like most homeschoolers buy a curriculum and do what schools do, and their kids sit at the kitchen table and kind of jump through the traditional hoops. But our kids learn.
Now, you say jump through the traditional hoops, which kind of implies that they're not that important. You're jumping through some hoops to get to where you want to go. Is that how you saw the curriculum that the schools would establish?
Well, it's not that they're not important, but it's not really individualized. I really believe that kids learn best when they're internally motivated. And so my kids learn from their interests and passions in life, and they learn really easily and well, and it's a really joyful experience. So I don't believe in any kind of forced learning.
So that means who sets a curriculum? You?
We don't set a curriculum at all. No.
So, and how old are your kids?
I have 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls. They are 5, 8, 11, and 13.
So, beautiful looking family there. And where is that?
That's in Jackson, New Hampshire.
Okay, so you're telling me those kids there decide what they do with their day?
Yes. Yep, all day, every day.
All day, every day?
Yep.
So, is this legal?
Yeah, it's legal in all 50 states.
Okay, and so they could literally, your oldest, what's your son's name?
Devin.
Devin could say, Mom, this week all I want to do is play video games, download some apps, and eat Twinkies.
He could, but that's not realistic to our life. Like, when kids have freedom to decide, they make really good choices for themselves. You'd be surprised with what kids... Oh, yeah, totally.
Did you know that? Is that why you did this, or did you learn that?
I've been researching it since my son was born. Devin was born, and within a couple hours of his birth, Columbine was happening live. And I watched it. It was the first thing I saw after his birth at the hospital. And I remember thinking, as I saw it, that my kids will always have the choice. So unschooling isn't anti-school. It's more children having the freedom and the choice to decide to go or not. I think schools should be a resource, like a library. But I think once a child is forced to go to school against their will, they're not going to learn in the same way a child would if they were choosing.
So does he study math?
Well, that's the thing is, the traditional subjects aren't separate from life. We don't live life broken down into subjects. Math is a useful tool, just like reading and writing. So what human being wouldn't want to learn these tools to get more of what they want in life, to learn more?
So is that a yes? He studies math?
He doesn't sit down and study math, but he uses math. And in doing so in real life context, he learns math like anybody else.
So you're saying he's studying math by living life?
Well, he's not studying it in the way that you're thinking. He's not sitting down. He's never done a math workbook. He's never done a reading workbook. He's never sat down and done phonics, yet he learned how to read.
So if I asked him, and I love how open you are with me asking these maybe seemingly ignorant questions. If I asked him what's 8 times 8, would he know, or would he have a way of getting by?
I don't think it's really cool to quiz a kid like that on the spot.
I'm not going to quiz him.
Right, okay.
I'm asking
Would he know? Yeah, he would know. At his age, he would know, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay,
but he also has tools. We have calculators in life, so he doesn't sit down and do the like traditional times tables like we all did, like I did. He didn't memorize those. However, he knows the resources to find out these answers.
Right.
So as an unschooling mom, I'm not my kid's teacher, but I'm their learning facilitator. It's a really hands-on role. I need to know what they're interested in. Whatever Devin's showing an interest in, or any of my kids, I need to bring as many resources into their lives as possible to learn and grow from. And so unschooling is not for the lazy parent. I need to find mentorships, apprenticeships, resources. I'm always on the internet looking for different ways to bring these resources into my kids' lives. And it's great because I know what kind of learners they all are.
It seems to me what you're doing is early on, you're saying you're interested in nature. So let's put you in nature. You'll learn how to count because we're going to end up playing with the trees and you'll figure out the 5th tree is different. But I'm not going to sit you down and have you do multiplication tables.
Right.
And so is there any disadvantage to this that you've seen?
None that I've seen. My kids know as much as any child in school knows. They're evaluated every year. They just learn really differently. We don't need to ever use workbooks because they're using these tools every day, like I said. They learn math through baking or through anything. it's not separate from life, and it's hard to believe. I would have never guessed I'd be doing this, ever. If you would have asked me 15 years ago before having kids, I would have laughed. I was never somebody that was really radical or making these kind of choices. It just happened really organically, and I've always just trusted my kids and followed their interests, and yeah, so they learn it. It's amazing.
All right, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll find out what a typical day looks like for Dana's 13-year-old, Devin, who does not go to school. We'll be right back. Let's talk to the man who's here doing it. So your appearance speaks to a kid who, A, is given a lot of freedom, right?
No, my child is going to go to school as long as I live in this planet, you know? Because first of all, you need to be at home monitoring what they're doing. You need to be kind of like a teacher at home. And not every parent is prepared to do that. I'm not prepared to do that.
I know a lot of children who are homeschooled and that have actually graduated from high school at 15 or 16 years old. They're very well-rounded, they're successful, so I know that that is an option that does work for some people.
I feel like when you take a child out of a setting such as school and you keep them home, and then when you finally do let them out into the world, they're not ready for the world, and sometimes they act out.
So that was a group of moms. We just asked the other day different thoughts about unschooling. This isn't new to you. You hear different opinions about this all the time, right?
Right, yeah. We're used to people being, thinking that we're weird, asking us controversial questions.
Anybody who's a pioneer in anything, most people are going to look at him and go, I don't know. I like it the way it was. Let's talk to the man who's here doing it. So, first of all, Devin, you're 13, right? Your appearance speaks to a kid who, A, is given a lot of freedom, right? And B, has an idea of how he wants to present himself. Do you understand that idea?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And that rings true to you?
Yeah.
So your mom is okay with how you present yourself to the world, and does she encourage it?
Of course she does. She totally does, yeah.
And do you realize it's unique?
Yeah.
It seems to me like it would be, and just by the fact that you were raised in this family, with a mom and dad and brothers and sisters, and you were all taught to follow your bliss, as they say, that you learn to just go where you want. Is that so? Is when you spend your day, and your mom said there is no curriculum, how do you know what you're doing is the right thing to do?
Because I'm happy this way. I just love my life. I feel great all the time. Of course this is the right thing to do.
And you have no curriculum, you have no workbooks. So is he learning this just from you guys?
No, I mean, you have to have a life rich with resources, and you have to be willing to research things with your children and be excited about learning yourself. Devin knows that learning never ends, doesn't end because you're 18 and you graduate. He sees me always learning more and pursuing my passion. So learning is a really joyful experience in our family, and so he learns.
What are you into, Devin?
I'm into a lot of different things. I'm very athletic. I like free running. Do you know?
Yeah.
I ski, and I play a lot of instruments. I play drums. I was in a band for a little while.
So music is math, right? Really, especially drums. 4/4 time, 3/4 time. So you know math in ways that are practical in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see, yes, it was like a class kind of band thing, and we all learned how to play music. I taught myself how to play drums, but since I thought that I was at the right level to actually be able to join a band, I joined this thing, and they taught us how to work as a band.
And does your mom have any influence whether you're in a band or not?
I don't think she cares if I'm in a band, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. So if you want to go practice, great. If you don't want to practice,
yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
Do you have friends that are in a similar situation, or are most of your friends in school?
I have almost no friends that are in school. Almost all my friends are unschooled.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the one late to the party. This is going on everywhere, right?
Oh, hundreds, thousands of people do this.
Oh, yeah.
And you clearly are, I have to say, you represent yourself really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd be really proud if you were my son, the way you're carrying yourself here today. Are you proud when you see him? This is hard. He's sitting out here on a TV show. I'm sort of interrogating him with all these questions.
Yeah, I'm so proud of whatever he decides to do with his life. As long as he's happy, that's the goal for us.
Here's the thing I'm going to take from this. As a new parent to kids that are still young, I see something in this that really sparks me a lot because I see the product. I see a kid here who's well-spoken, and I know if I started arguing with him, he could argue back, he could debate his point. But what really got me was I said, "Are you proud of him?" And you said, "Yeah, if he's happy, I'm proud of whatever he wants." You don't even have an expectation around what he achieves or doesn't achieve.
No, I mean, I think a lot of parenting is focused on meeting the parents' needs for a child to become what they want them to become.
And that's not what you're doing.
No, I want him to be who he's meant to be in life, and I love to support him no matter what he's doing.
Will you guys stick in the audience for the next couple we have?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for being here. Up next, another mom who decided to take her child out of school for a completely different reason when we come back. So, at what age did you pull her out of school?
8.
At 8. Closed captioning for the Jeff Probst Show provided by... Well, when Connie's daughter Shania started academically surpassing kids twice her age, she decided it was time to take her out of school. And so when you did this, welcome Connie and Shania. Thanks for being here. So this is a very different story from Dana and Devin. This was, my daughter is bored, I'm guessing, at school.
Yeah, it was more so that every year in school, when she started public school, she basically was not challenged enough. So they promoted her pretty much every year.
And did you know when you started, back then, did you start and think, give me something?
I was always bored in school. I always felt like I wanted a challenge. I wanted something to be hard for me that I had to figure out. So I was constantly just coping with whatever they gave me because of how easy it was for me. I flew by it, really. I mean, I just really wanted a good challenge.
So at what age did you pull her out of school?
8.
At 8?
Yes, at 8. But by this time, 8 years old, she was in 9th grade, sitting with high school kids.
Literally in a 9th grade classroom?
In a 9th grade class, with her little legs dangling that didn't reach the ground, and it broke my heart. I'm like, this just doesn't seem right.
How did it seem to you?
For me, it was so normal because I don't know anything else. I mean, here's an 8-year-old girl, I mean, going in with freshman students. I didn't know anything else, so I thought it was normal. I thought that was, what happened.
So are you aware in life, like right now sitting across from me, that odds are you're smarter than me already at 13?
Yeah, smarter than me.
Than I ever will be? Do you go through life looking as a 13-year-old going, I can handle you, sir. Whatever it is you're going to ask me, I can handle that.
Well, my theory on learning and education is that knowledge is knowing what you don't know, and that you never know enough, that you always go through life learning constantly, no matter what it is. So
knowledge, keep going, is what don't know. Got it. So you're at home, you're not unschooled, you're homeschooling, right?
Yes, but it's also in traditional homeschooling in the sense that I don't want to take credit for her homeschooling because I was probably about 25%. She had private teachers come to the house.
Well, yeah, you have to.
Yes.
Because she's clearly...
definitely. There's no way
So,
I could do this. No.
And one thing I was reading is that you guys make decisions together.
Mm-hmm. We have... It goes three ways.
It's a three-way because basically my family is myself, my mom, my dad, and my pet cat, but cats can't speak. So whenever we had to make a decision, it would always be through the three of us. I mean, we never left each other out, and we always made sure that the three of us were comfortable with every decision we made. So it was a good balance.
So what do you do when at 13? If at 8 you were in 9th grade? What level are you studying at now?
I just graduated high school in May.
Now, do you do that through homeschooling? So do you have a ceremony you get to do? Or?
Yes, we do, but she graduated from Texas and we had just moved to Burbank, to California, so she missed having a ceremony, so we took her to dinner. We didn't know anybody here, so she's very humble. She just said to me that day, I said, let's go celebrate. She said, what for? It's not a big deal. I said, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
But I want to point out that not only did she graduated with 19 credits over required Texas law. Yeah. So she really could have graduated probably at 10 maybe or something.
So when we come back, I have a question about this, which is, does this qualify as an overachiever, and what does that mean? You'll tell me, because I don't know. And also, what do you do for fun? Can you date? All that stuff. All right, we'll be right back.
I worked one-on-one with thousands of students all around the nation. I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people.
Who are you? We want you to come hang with us at a taping of the Jeff Probst Show.
I'm so happy.
Tickets are free, and you'll get the full VIP treatment in our one and only audience party room, including food, fun, and more. Right on. Yeah. So if you're going to be in the LA area, just go to jeffprobst.com and say yes to being in our live studio audience.
Jeff Probst Show.
We are back with 13-year-old Shania and her mom, Connie. You've been homeschooled since you were 8. You just graduated high school. You're 13. And you're an author.
Yes, I've been writing ever since I can remember, but I wrote my first traditionally published book when I was 8. I've written a book basically every single year. I just released my 4th book. It's called Bully in the Mirror.
Bully?
Bully in the Mirror. And it's basically a self-development book for kids, parents, teachers, schools to utilize as a learning tool to build self-esteem and self-confidence. It also touches how to address bullying in a more effective way. I have researched bullying for about 2 years, but...
Were you bullied?
No, actually what happened was it was when bullying started becoming such a large epidemic, and I got tired of basically seeing that kids were taking their own lives because they couldn't handle what they were enduring at school and sometimes even at home. So I educated myself on the aspect of bullying, but most importantly, I worked one-on-one with thousands of students all around the nation. I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people.
Who are you?
Documentedly, I have saved 5 lives from suicide. Documented.
Really?
And I've also helped some of my own friends through bullying problems, and some of my friends have actually been suicidal. So I've helped.
Do you have fun, or is this fun?
This is fun, and I do more.
What's fun? What's something that's not academic?
Writing. I'm actually composing my own album. I just released 2 singles on iTunes.
Devin plays music. Yeah. There might be
Totally. Yeah, definitely. And I'm currently doing that, and I just opened my own production company. It's under Shania 13th Productions, and I'm producing my own music and film.
I want to crawl under this table and reevaluate what happened to my life. All right, one more question. We'll take a break. Be right back. The following segment brought to you by Target. Expect more, pay less. We're back with 13-year-old Shania and her mom, Connie. I think on behalf of all the parents here and watching at home, you need to not look down on your children now as less than, simply because we've shown you 2 exceptional young children who don't need our educational system. Your rarities, in a sense. I mean, the question we're going to leave here with as we run out of time is this something that could happen more often if we looked at, like you're saying, Dana, if we looked at differently how we educate? Or are there some kids that are just naturally, they get it and they're further ahead? I don't have the answer, but I love that you guys have shared these stories. And I have one last question. When it's time, will you want a boyfriend? Will that be fun?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. That's the show. Thanks to all of our guests, Connie, Shania, Devin, and Dana. Thanks for hanging.